Take the exit. Turn right into the drive-thru.
Nope, I'm making dinner tonight.
You don't have time. Josh has practice.
Oh, that's right. I'll just get a salad.
And fries?
No, just the salad.
But salad cancels fries.
Salad only.
Fries.
Salad.
Fries.
Food noise isn't fair, but Mochi Health is. The affordable GLP-1 source that puts you on the road to successful weight loss.
Hey, can I get the...
Fries.
Salad. Sorry.
Learn more at joinmochi.com. Mochi members have access to licensed physicians and nutritionists. Results may vary.
Hey there, it's Wayfair here, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app, when you spot it, a brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's Room of Choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Kempire is brought to you by... Guys, welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As you can see, I am not in the studio. However, I am still making time on Mother's Day to do our Real Housewives of Beverly Hills recap. So bear with me if there's any technical issues. There should be no sound issues. Hopefully not. However, I hope that you guys will enjoy our Real Housewives of Beverly Hills final recap for season 15. If you missed any of the recaps over this last season, I recapped it every single week. It was a part of our Friday Live. This is probably the only recap that we've done that is exclusively about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I know, no, don't go, don't leave, stay. But a lot of you said that you watched my recaps instead of watching the current season. I couldn't tell in regards to that when it comes to their ratings. Their ratings did not suffer this season. If anything, towards the end, very, very usual for Beverly Hills, they actually went up to nearly 1 million. And I don't know, maybe you guys just like watching a train crash, or you just have it set in your DVRs and you watch it, it comes up. I don't know. Either way, people are still watching, but a lot of people are still saying it was a boring season. It did not require a 3-part reunion, and they need to overhaul the cast. One thing I know with Bravo, especially because the ratings and the numbers matter more than anything, and specifically when it comes to streaming and engagement on social media, and no matter how you may like or dislike Bozema, she caused conversation, maybe not the best conversation for herself, but it still caused conversation. And sometimes that's the problem. If someone calls it, even Amanda really wasn't a great newbie by herself. She was created as a great newbie because everyone made everything about her. Even at this reunion, the last cheers that they have is a matcha martini or something like that, because it was something that she said during the season. Do I think that Amanda's iconic? Do I think Amanda will have a great season next season? I don't know. To be honest with you, when you really look at Amanda without everyone making her a storyline, she really is not that interesting. And yes, there were moments during the season that we defended her, and this is why I say be Team You, because there will be moments, even because, if you're, Team Bose or your team this one or that one, Team Dorit, then you feel like, oh, I can't defend, some people feel like that. They can't defend someone when they really know in their heart of hearts that what people are doing to this person is wrong, but they can't defend them because they're team whatever. We don't do that over here. We're Team Us. We don't know these people. It's an edited version of what we're watching regardless. But Amanda, I felt like was harmless. But again, like I said, I don't feel like Amanda was incredibly special or stood out like some of our other newbies, like an Angela Oakley or a Stacey Rush. I saw, I'm on vacation. And if you want to know where I'm on vacation, you should have joined our mailing list. What are you doing? I told you this, and I know, I usually never really say where I'm going until I'm there. But now I'm not telling y'all anything. And those of you that join the mailing list now, I will also be sharing more details of the things that I've done on my birthday trip. Yes, my birthday is literally tomorrow. But I know today is Mother's Day, and I know we have quite a large community of women that are mothers, have been motherly, are motherly to me. So I do want to say happy Mother's Day to all of our amazing mothers or mother figures in our community. And some of those mother figures are men. Yes. Look, we know that there are people that have stepped up as a mother or father figure in your life. So celebrating for them as well. So shout out to all the mothers of our community. but then it's going to be back about me tomorrow, okay? Birthday loading. And I know you guys are wondering, will we get the Real Housewives of Atlanta recap? No promises. I'm always, when I'm on vacation, this is where I set my boundaries. When I'm on vacation, I always prioritize if there's an activity that comes up that's more important, I'm going to do that activity. Right now, I don't really have anything specifically planned, but that doesn't mean tonight I won't plan something and then I'm going to prioritize that over watching Real Housewives of Atlanta. Maybe when I get back, I will recap Real Housewives of Atlanta, but make sure that you're subscribed. Make sure that you have your notifications on. Make sure you're following the podcast. You never know. I might say, it's easier for me not to get on camera and I will do a quick recap on the podcast. You just never know. I'm always trying to make every single platform that we have uniquely special and different. And Club KEMPIRE Baddies, I know you're waiting on your special episode. So if you're a Club KEMPIRE Baddie and you're not a part of the mailing list, which I highly doubt, but if just in case you're not a part of the mailing list, I will let you guys know where I am, what I've been doing, all that good stuff. Maybe later today when I get back, I have a tour later today. So, but again, I'm not prioritizing work over what I would like to do on my birthday trip. I need a vacation. I haven't taken a vacation since last year. I know you're all thinking like, really? I felt like you were just on vacation. I was not. It's been a good 6+ months, which is not great, especially for someone that works for themselves. I should be going on vacation regularly, right? Right. Anyway, so I say all that to say, join the inner circle at thekempire.com/join, okay? I'm not sure if not, I will see and figure it out if my original email that I sent detailing my trip will go out to you automatically, but if not, I will resend it for those that will join, okay? All right, I say all that to say, like the video, easy free way of supporting me while I'm on vacation doing work, taking time out of my vacation to do work, okay? Just saying. All right, back to our Real Housewives of Beverly Hills recap. So, I know you've probably been seeing it. I've been seeing so many different viral moments of different stories happening over this vacation. I've seen the James Charles of it all. Some people are like, who's James Charles? He's a YouTuber turned makeup owner. He goes viral every couple of years for being problematic. Apparently he went viral this past week for yelling at this woman who sent him a DM asking for him to donate to her GoFundMe. She had lost her job at Spirit Airlines. And we make jokes about Spirit Airlines. In no way is that celebratory of people losing their jobs, period. And he went on this rant talking about how she, you're not even a fan of mine. How, go find another job. That's what you should be doing, not setting up a GoFundMe, blah, blah. If you want to know my thoughts on that, go over to Jackie Ina's TikTok. She says it perfectly, and I say go to her TikToks because she's in that space. They are peers in regards to the YouTube makeup world, lifestyle world. She's more lifestyle than anything. She does makeup too, but go check her out and listen to what she said, because I felt like it summarizes everything that I was thinking and feeling about that. And Jackie, I know sometimes you listen to my videos because people have tagged me when they hear my voice in the background. Thank you, Jackie. Appreciate you. When I come to California, we must hang. At home. Because y'all know I don't like to go out and I don't drink. Sidebar. I'll say this now. I don't care. I'm at this really cute hotel. And they sent me a message saying that, we're smelling smoke coming from your room. I said, there ain't no way you're smelling smoke or thinking that I'm smoking in my room. I have never smoked a cigarette, a joint, nothing like that a day in my life. And I'm definitely not lighting incense. Okay? So I said, that can't be my room that you're smelling that from, because I don't smoke. I've never smoked at any point in my life. So I don't know if they ever figured it out, but they apologized. I was like, of all the people that you could think that would be smoking, I'm not one of them. I'm definitely not one of them. All right, that was a little sidebar story. So one of those stories were going viral. I was saying all that to say I saw the Dorit Kemsley and PK divorce is going viral because of documents are being leaked. Long-winded text messages. I reposted it on, this is why you should follow me everywhere, because I reposted it on X saying, even her text messages are long-winded. So were PK's, but that's why they were a match made in heaven for so long. Here's the thing. I think some people, when people are critical of Dorit they think that you're automatically Team PK. And some of you have said, I am Team PK in regards to like you personally speaking. I'm not Team PK because I think very much like what we said about other couples, they found each other for a reason. They're both problematic probably in ways that we probably don't even understand or remember. Because don't forget some of PK's behavior on social media when it comes to content creators, some of the other cast. PK's not innocent. I think what helps PK, and this is something that a lot of celebrities can learn from, is being quiet, not doing a lot of interviews, and being very strategic with the interviews that you do. Like the interview that he did, that last interview that PK did, painted PK in a way that makes it like, oh, he's a brilliant businessman. He's calm. He's measured. He's not the PK that we've seen on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. He's not the PK that we've seen on social media. The Bravo universe probably remembers that PK, but there are other people that are starting to see him. They're like, oh, that Dorit is terrible. Do I think Dorit is perfect? No. Do I think that Dorit is innocent? No. However, I do believe that text messages being leaked to TMZ is strategic, and I believe that it's Dorit that leaked these text messages to TMZ, even though TMZ can get their hands on a lot of different things. However, I do believe it was leaked intentionally because of the interview that he recently did, because of what just came out in regards to Dorit's spending, which is so interesting. And it's not lost on me that the reason why Kyle was saying this on camera was to... I honestly believe that Kyle... I know people do not like Kyle. And you already know how I feel about Kyle, but some of you don't. Some of you come in here, you're Team Kyle. Y'all need to go back and watch the things that I reported and talked about when we recap. Kyle is definitely, I've said for a very long time, Kyle needs to come off the show. Even the guy from Ugly Betty was on Watch What Happens Live, who is a Kyle hater. For lack of a better word, I don't really mean that like that. But he's never been a fan of Kyle. Even he was a defending Kyle during this reunion on Watch What Happens Live, saying like this is the one time I'm like, Dorit is dragging this. Dorit is just not taking any accountability. Dorit and her rehearsed reads. Dorit citing things from 2023. Dorit quoting other people on this cast. It felt so rehearsed, and I wouldn't be surprised she was taking advice from Bose. I wouldn't be surprised. But anyway, so this is the story that came out this week in regards to Dorit's spending. And like I said, I feel like Kyle was speaking from a place of, oh, she's speaking to Mauricio. Her and Mauricio are still amicable. Her and Mauricio speaking with PK. I'm sure, and we saw that in that scene that we saw during the season where Dorit and Mauricio sit down, which I still think was a non-starter. It was a stupid scene. However, now looking back at it, I'm glad we got that scene. You know why? Because for me, it exposed Dorit. I'm not saying, again, PK's innocent, but for me, it exposed Dorit in regards to her not telling the 100% truth. But I believe that Mauricio knew about Dorit's spending, knew about those particular details, and was telling this to Kyle. I think Kyle really was trying to protect Dorit. Stop spending so much on camera. This is not going to look good for you, because I'm hearing from this, and she didn't say that, but I'm hearing from Mauricio, he's talking about how you're spending, and this is what you're doing on camera. And the fact that Dorit turned on her, and I know Dorit's probably going to spin this another way, and fans will spin this another way, that, that Kyle was doing this to set Dorit up. Guys, I don't believe that. I really don't believe that. I don't think Kyle is as venomous as people want to paint her out to be. Do I think she's the best, she needs a break from the show? Yes. However, I also don't think that Kyle is, I don't think Kyle is a terrible human being. You know how Lisa Rinna we thought was a terrible human being and still do? I don't think Kyle is a terrible human being. Is she the most likable? No. But take a look at this. I also saw, if you want more specifics, you want to see the court documents, you know what we do here, even though Ronald doesn't believe we cite our sources. Ronald Richards, the attorney that was following the Erica case and things like that, yeah. He's been citing the actual court documents on X, so if you want to see them, be sure to check them out there. According to People magazine, they say this: PK claims that his estranged wife, Dorit Kemsley, of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, spent nearly $1 million on high fashion items and other luxury goods while their family fell behind on mortgage payments. Apparently, this home they owe like $6 million on this home, $6 million plus, just based off of the recent reports. PK, who's 58, that's a hard 58, alleged in the new court filings obtained by People that Dorit, 49, spent approximately 80% of her available funds for her personal expenses, which included her clothing and travel, totaling in excess of $1 million. From December 28 to 2024 through March 31st, PK claims that Dorit spent $995,270 on, quote, wardrobe-related expenses, including about $69,000 in charges from Louis Vuitton, another $69,000 from Chanel, $38,000 from Hermes, and $22,000 from Saint Honoré between October 30th, 2025 and January 6th per the filing. That's a lot of money. And if you understand the thing, where is Dorit getting this money from? It can't be Beverly Hills. Even if she's making money on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, she's not making more than Kyle. Let's say for argument's sake, she's making $2 million on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. $2 million. Yes, she got an advance for her book. Do you think that was a big advance? What publishing house is clamoring for a book from Dorit Kemsley? Yes, they were like, we'll give you a book deal. You're a Real Housewives. I'm sure it'll do decently. We'll make our money back, blah, blah, blah. But you're not getting millions of dollars. I don't know if she has other partnerships in regards to sponsorships, but I don't think so. I don't think she has a lot of she's wheeling and dealing these things. And yes, I know she had her businesses beforehand, which are no longer in business. So even if she's making, let's say, $2 million, I'm being generous with that number because I believe Erica was making maybe $1 million. But let's, for argument's sake, let's say Dorit's making $2 million. That's before she has to pay agents and taxes. Maybe she's not paying her taxes, allegedly. There's a big tax bill, too, for this couple. That's still not equating you spending $1 million in that span of time. Did they say a month? $1 million in a month? Lord have mercy. That's crazy. Nearly $1 million on half. That is crazy to me. Either way, even if it's a few months, that's a lot of money to spend that you don't necessarily have. And I'm assuming this is money that PK has. So they said, upon review of Dorit's Bravo contract for Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, a legal review allegedly determined that the large sums of the money Dorit spent on clothes were personal expenses, as they were not required of her to purchase for her role on the hit TV show per the filing. Because, doing this kind of work, she could write some of this stuff off because if she features it on the show. So the spending came as the family was facing potential foreclosure of their home, for which they allegedly owed $6 million in mortgage payments. In the filing, PK claims to have urged Dorit to work with lenders and realtors to move towards selling the property, but claims that she did not want to sell it. He additionally alleges that he offered to permit Dorit and their kids to temporarily move into his residence while he handled the sale of the property, which the pair purchased in 2019. But people have been talking about this property and how many lenders were used to buy this property. Again, I think some of that falls on Dorit, but mostly I think that falls on PK in regards to handling their finances. But Dorit can't sit here and act like she doesn't know what's going on with the finances conveniently anymore, even though she tried to do it again for the second foreclosure, pre-foreclosure. The couple shared daughter Phoenix, who's 10, and son. I feel bad for these kids. Jagger, who's 12. In text messages between the estranged couple shared in the filing, Dorit is seen asking PK to pay off the debt and take the home out of foreclosure as to not put the kids through unnecessary damage. Dorit filed for divorce from PK on April 25th of 2025. So it's like a year. In the documents previously obtained by People, Dorit cited irreconcilable differences as the reason behind their split and asked the judge to award her sole legal and physical custody of their children as well as spousal support. In May of 2025, PK responded to the filing by asking for split custody. Dorit's divorce filing came one day after PK was photographed kissing and holding hands with former Amazing Race contestant Shanna Wall while taking a stroll after dinner in Los Angeles on April 24th, 2025. Are they still together? Because I remember reading the text messages. Was it Shanna, the name? I think so. They might be still dating. Wow. During the reunion, Dorit said that eventually she would get to dating, but right now she's not focused on that. I'm sure Dorit probably is dating, but keeping it on the low. People has reached out to PK's attorneys and a rep for Dorit. Apparently, they have not heard back. All right. I just wanted to give you that update in regards to what's been going on in regards to the spending and what I've been seeing. Some of you may not have, maybe had no idea. Some of you rely on me to give you those details. And for those that are just joining us and not realizing, this is pre-recorded because I'm on vacation. I was going to try and go live, but the thing is, sometimes when you travel, the Wi-Fi can be unreliable. And the last thing I want to deal with is any tech issues. So I said, I might as well just record this straight through without any interruptions. Maybe I'll go live separately on TikTok or something like that and talk about other things. But yeah, this is pre-recorded. Just an FYI. But shout out to our sponsors and those that support the channel. We appreciate them. Shout out to Hulu. Real talk. You live for reality TV. Every time it gets crazy, gets juicy, gets dramatic, and completely irresistible. And lucky for you, Hulu on Disney Plus does too, with the most unhinged and unmatched library of shows. Period. Turn on larger-than-life docusoaps like Season 4 of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and the hit new series Love Thy Nader, featuring superstar model Brooks Nader and her sisters. Obsess over the seasons of iconic dating shows like Love Island UK and Farmer Wants a Wife. Get hooked on irresistible food competitions like MasterChef. Dive into hit game shows like Celebrity Family Feud. And revel in show-stopping fashion competitions, including the one and only Project Runway. Whatever it is you're into, Hulu has it all. No filler, no fluff, just thousands of episodes of the very best in reality TV every single day. Because Hulu gets real. Stream now on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers. Terms apply. And we're back. We're back, guys. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to share the video. Don't forget to subscribe. It is a subscribers only live chat. As you can see, I'm not in the studio, but I am here still doing our Real Housewives of Beverly Hills recap. Don't forget, you can also hear our recaps and special episodes on the Kempire podcast. So subscribe today, and don't forget to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Let's get into this reunion. I know I've been talking for like 20-something minutes, and we haven't even gotten to the reunion. We talked a little bit about the reunion, but I had to give you an update on some of the things that have been going on. So at the top of this reunion, it's the beef between Erica and Dorit that's playing out. I have a couple of thoughts on their beef. I do believe that Erica is hurt. I do believe that Erica looked at Dorit as a friend. Because remember, they were part of the Fox Force flunkies. So I do believe that she did value Dorit's friendship. But I have said over the season that I feel like Erica valued her relationship with Kyle more. Partially because Kyle does have influence. And they talked about, they even joke about it during the reunion, because Kyle was saying, if I could get someone off of this show, there were a few people I would have gotten off already. And Andy's like, well, want to make a list? Let's make the list. Who would you have gotten off of the show over the last few seasons? Probably I wouldn't say that it was Garcelle. People will say it's Garcelle. I think on some level, Kyle, because this is sort of like her baby, they all, like the OGs, even Nene, view this show like their babies. And I do believe she did see Garcelle as a good addition. And she probably is on some level like, damn, losing Garcelle was a major hit. Sidebar. Garcelle, congratulations on your new book. Garcelle has a new book out that you can hear on Audible as well. I'm going to listen to it while I'm on vacation, and maybe we'll talk about it. I'm so mad. Garcelle was in New York while promoting this, so I did not have that would have been a great opportunity to interview Garcelle, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So shout out to Garcelle and Garcelle's new book. But back to this. So on some level, I do believe Erica was being strategic. Erica's like, I know where my bread is buttered. On some level. So I can't argue with Dorit in regards to her saying it out loud. What I think a lot of people are thinking is that Erica is going to remain loyal to Kyle because she wants to save her job. But for Erica, she's like, that's the worst thing you can say to any of us on this cast or to any Real Housewife in regards to like, oh, I'm only doing something to save myself in the show, that I'm not being authentic. Here's the thing with Erica. Although there are points that Erica makes that I can understand and sympathize with, but at the same time, part of me is sort of like, Erica, you want to say that you're so authentic, because I can't even say that you're authentic. Thank God for Sutton. Thank God for Garcelle those seasons during the time of it all, because you wouldn't have been vulnerable. You wouldn't have been what's the word? Sympathetic. You weren't at all. If anything, it made people like you less. And to be honest with you, up until that point, you had become very lackluster. You had become very boring. Besides like the fashions and things like that, up until the time of it all, I could have seen you go, to be honest. But fine. But there was a part in there that I think was somewhat genuine in regards to the friendship that she had with Dorito. But at the same time, I do think that there's some truth to you valuing a friendship with Kyle more for a variety of different reasons. And it could not just be only about the show. It could also be about like, well, Dorit, I value her a little bit more than you, because when we're not filming, I actually hear from Kyle. I'm talking with Kyle. I'm hanging out with Kyle. Luckily, I listened to Humble Brag, and I really take what Crystal Kung-Minkoff says with more weight than a lot of these other women, because she was on there for a short period of time, but she saw a lot, and she doesn't come across to me as someone that's inauthentic and would lie to us. So I really put weight on her perspective on what she saw and experienced while her time on the show, and I was like, okay, that makes a lot more sense in regards to the kind of friend Dorito is. And I think a lot of people don't realize, but I think if you really look at the dynamics on the show, that Dorit's not a good friend. And Dorit's not respectful of people's time. And I've been saying this for years, even before y'all even knew me. I've been saying for years, because I used to have a roommate that was always late. It's such a disrespect of people's time when you're late. It's such a disrespect. Especially when you are 2 hours late. So they talk about this during the first part of the reunion, and then I was right. Here I go being a tourist. I was right. I told you guys I felt like they were going to dibble and dabble in part 1 and part 2 for this Dorit and Kyle and Erica drama, and that's exactly what they did. And then I feel like in part 3 it was sort of anticlimactic in regards to there was no resolution, and it was sort of like, okay, what are we doing here? There was no resolve. But okay. There was no resolve, but fine. So Erica says the biggest issue for her was the fact that Dorit tried to say that she was showing up and acting this way towards Dorit in order to save her job. So Erica says that was probably the most hurtful thing that she said. Was it hurtful because it was true on some level? Just saying. I get it. Being in that space, being a housewife, someone saying something like that can be very hurtful, especially when you feel like you are being authentic. Or was it hurtful because it was somewhat true? I'm asking. I'm not accusing. I'm asking. Okay. All right. So she says that it wasn't true and that it was hurtful. Erica says that Dorit, the other thing that really hurt her the most was when Dorit in Italy said that Bose supported her more than anyone in the group. Kyle chimes in, just like, yeah, that hurt me too. And they list all the times that they really have shown up for Dorit. And Dorit, the last episode was sort of like, how about not going back 10 years? Well, no, I kind of get why, as a friend, like, well, over the 10 years of knowing you, I supported you multiple times. Maybe I haven't supported you in the last couple of years because I'm going through my own drama, or you're just a terrible friend. That might be the reason why I'm not supporting you. But Erica says that is what really triggered her with Dorit, is that she says that Bose was very quiet. Were you guys paying attention to Bose's body language during that much? She was just sort of like, her body language was sort of like into herself. She's like, I don't want no part in this, because she's working on a relationship with Kyle. She seems to be really good with Erica. So she's just like, I don't want no part of this. She did not want to get involved. So Dorit brings up Erica saying no one supported her back in 2023. So Dorit, there were so many moments throughout this reunion that I was like, these are very rehearsed. Like, why is Dorit bringing up and quoting some of the things that people have said on this cast over the years? And that's why I said I feel like either she rehearsed this on her own to plan to bring this back to reunion, or her and Bose had this plan of like, Bose was like, well, you need to be prepared. You need to, bring up all your different examples. It wouldn't shock me. I feel like Bose really is coming in sort of as like a fixer for Dorit. And she's been doing that since last season. But here's the thing, Dorit. Just based on what I've seen of Bose, and we're not going to get into the argument. I said this in a short form video last week during part 2, where I said Bose might be good at her job because she's redirected us from talking about her coming after Amanda this entire season to us now talking about the longevity or lack thereof, a longevity of CMOs in different corporations, which has led to a larger conversation of that instead of us talking about how this all began, because Bose has now painted herself as the victim. Oh, Amanda has been talking about my business. Amanda has been saying I've been saying this. Amanda blah, 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 blah. And we forget that Amanda didn't come for you, Bose. You came for her, and then you kept on coming for her. And then you called her a scammer. Then you called her business a cult. Like, all of that stuff is damaging. I mean, lucky for you, in a space on reality television, a lot of times these other housewives and other reality TV stars are not going to sue each other. But she might have some grounds to sue you. You're calling her a scammer. You're trying to paint her as a scammer the entire season. And then you said she has a cult. Luckily for you, this inspired Amanda to write a book about that, to make video content about that. If anything, that side of Amanda is actually making her a better newbie than she was during the season. I did see some comments from Amanda in the comment section, which makes it seem like, is Amanda not going to come back next season? Because she was in the comment section saying, like, why would I ever do that again? Honestly, I wouldn't blame Amanda if she didn't come back. Because, okay, you did it. Now the whole world knows, like a whole universe of women. The exact thing that I said that I believe Bose was trying to do by coming on this show, to get an audience for her workshops in this next chapter of her life. Women that want to buy her hair and things like that. I feel like that actually worked out for Amanda based off of Bose constantly attacking Amanda. I feel like that has worked out better for Amanda. Now there's this whole universe of women and men, because a bunch of us that watch this show and follow the show, like, you know what? Let me take a listen to the show, to what she's saying, and let me also read her book, because I believe in manifestation. Let me see her perspective, because apparently it's worked for her and continues to work for her, even being on the show, even her not being the most likable person. It's worked for Amanda. So maybe her cult actually works. Thanks, Bose. Guys, if you're just joining us, don't forget to like the video, but also don't mind. This is pre-recorded. You'll be strong. Okay? You'll be strong. So back to this, because I do want to get through this, because I would like to go start my day. So Andy seems to get really frustrated with Dorit because he's trying to garner some resolution between Erica and Dorit, because Erica is really hurt by some of the things that Dorit alluded in regards to her stepping up and acting this way to save her job, saying that Bose was more of a friend to her than Kyle or Erica. So Andy asked Dorit whether she wanted to apologize for those two things, and it's just like, and Andy, I have to ask you again. Apologize for what? Oh my gosh. Andy was so frustrated with it. Erica's just like, and here's the thing. Dorit has a lot of valid points in regards to how she feels, but she became so unlikable with refusing and being so stubborn in her perspective that she went from being the victim of this group to now being just annoying. And I think that's just who she is. And I also don't think she's a great friend. So, and she's like, she then apologizes after Andy walks her through what he was saying in regards to why Erica is upset. She's like, well, I'm sorry it made you feel that way, which is a housewife's apology that never usually lands right. So Dorit says that Erica changed overnight. That's how she feels. That Erica literally overnight changed, and says that Erica says that her issues with Dorit has been building. So it wasn't something that changed overnight. It felt, look, we could say that it changed overnight because that's how it feels based off of editing, but maybe it didn't. So Dorit says that Sutton buddying up with Amanda. Sutton really was such a last season's reunion and this season's reunion, she was so lackluster. Like, there was really not a lot going on with Sutton. But anyway, so Sutton explains why she volunteered to room with Amanda. So she walked through, she's like, they told me that I was going to room with Jennifer Tilly. And she's like, Jennifer Tilly's a big movie star. Jennifer Tilly wouldn't have cared. I really don't think that Jennifer would have cared in regards to sharing the room. Sidebar, Jennifer was very quiet in part 3. Kathy stood up in regards to stepping in and asking questions and things like that. But the friend does, they were just sort of there. It's like, okay. But anyway, so Dorit says that Sutton buddying up with Amanda was her way of sucking up to Kyle. And Sutton says the reason why she volunteered to room with Amanda was because they originally said that her and Jennifer were going to share rooms, and the production was like, well, you and Jennifer are like sisters. And Sutton was like, well, you have literally 2 sisters on the cast that could share rooms. But it's Kathy Hilton. Does Kathy want to share? Because originally I believe Amanda was going to share with Natalie. And for those of you wondering who Natalie is, Natalie was a friend of the season. She's not at the reunion, because I know there'll be people in the comments saying, who is Natalie that you speak of? Natalie not being there didn't change much of anything, but I'm going to defend Natalie when it comes to the whole mask issue with Amanda and Kyle. Kyle was trying to give you something, Natalie. You were like, I'm not falling for that, and I don't blame you. But she's not there to defend herself. They still threw her under the bus at this reunion in regards to, like, and Natalie was still trying to make it seem like, stop. Natalie was just like, yeah, I heard her say it, but it was like a joke. It wasn't anything that deep. But anyway, we talked about that, and it's so unimportant. But Sutton tries to explain why she decided to room. Natalie basically, and Kathy's whispering to Rachel, like, Natalie wanted to she brought her toy with her, so she was going to be pleasing herself during this vacation, so she didn't want to share a room with Amanda. But the way that Sutton made it seem was that Natalie didn't like Amanda, and Amanda was like, really? So like, but it had nothing to do with that. It had more to do with Natalie wanted her own room. She's like, I brought a toy with me on this trip. I do not want to share a room. So that's how Sutton ended up sharing a room with Amanda. And subsequently, it looks like it actually garnered not a deep friendship between them, but they ended up getting somewhat closer after sharing a room together. But okay, but they're also Virgos, so I could see them being in a room together and be like, okay, this can work. I can see another side of you. I can see like, well, no, you're always talking about your business. You're always doing this about your business. Fine. So Erica and Sutton discussed their new friendship, and Erica making the comment about Sutton's body being a box. It's very clear this season, production said that we do not want you guys coming after Sutton. Sutton's not going to be able to handle that. And I really don't believe that Erica valued Sutton's friendship. Yes, they've always had like a little bit of a frenemy-ship. I do believe that there is a level of an alliance between Erica, Kyle, and Sutton. And we saw that a lot towards the end of the season. Erica and Sutton, even their interaction regarding those comments, Erica's comments, it seemed like they were just like, we've decided that we are not going to let anyone drag us into an argument. So we're just going to run with this idea of like, I know you're sorry. I am. Literally, that's how it went. Sutton's like, I know you're sorry about that comment. And she's like, yes, I am. Basically leading Erica into that comment, into the apology. I was like, oh gosh. If you pay attention, then you can see that these women don't like each other. These women aren't hanging out outside of the show like that. Even Kyle and Erica, I don't see them hanging out like that. But fine. So they talk about that. Dorit accused Sutton of social climbing. And Sutton's just like, social climbing? Okay. even Kathy's was like, here's the thing, in California, I believe everyone is social climbing, unless you're a Kathy Hilton, okay, or Jennifer Tilly or something like if you already, I think even those individuals that are now at the top of this social status in California, in those scenes, I believe at some particular point they were social climbing as well, or didn't care to. I definitely believe that on some level, Sutton was a social climber, still is a social climber. She might want to paint herself as something else. I definitely also think that she's a socialite. I think Crystal Kung-Minkoff is a socialite too. But I'm sure coming into this world, she had to do a little bit of social climbing. I think people love to say that and make it use it in a derogatory way, but a lot of people that get to these levels social climbed to those levels. And social climbing basically is networking. Okay? Basically, that's what it is. And all these people want to go to these parties and be invited to these parties, not me. But if you invite me, thank you. But I that's what I believe is happening there. But so Dorit apologizes to Sutton, and Sutton's just like, oh, okay. And then she says, oh, you bought that? And Andy's like, wait, was it not a real apology? I can't. So then they do this whole, I don't even know what this particular break in the show was about, because they show these different moments, especially Rachel saying hot girl summer. She says in the moment, because she probably saw everyone in the comment section like, girl, what? Her hot girl summer was like 5 summers ago. During the pandemic, when that song came out. She's like, I regret saying hot girl summer. Okay. This is also where we find out Dorit says she isn't dating, but she will at some point. I believe she's dating, but she doesn't want to reveal, which I don't blame her, honestly. And they were talking about Amanda helping her manifest. Now, all of a sudden, you guys believe in manifestation? Helping her manifest. And I have to agree with Amanda. Like, how about we manifest the man before the man? Because when you're coming out of a long marriage, you do not need to jump into another serious relationship. How about a stopover? Which I believe Dorit probably has. Especially the way that Dorit navigated that speed dating situation earlier this season. Dorit is just secretive. She's a Cancer, so I'm not surprised. So, famous... okay, so this stood out to me because Rachel says that she said very famous man stuck his hands down her pants during her bachelorette weekend. First of all, who's this very famous man? She wouldn't reveal on camera, I understand, but the accusation that he stuck his hand... So you were SA'd by this man. I really want to know who it is, because what you described was SA. That he stuck his hand down your pants without... And you basically telling him, no. Okay. Kyle says that she would not be happy if her friends tried to date Mauricio. Not surprised by that. And then Dorit tries to make it about herself. And that's what literally Kyle says. She's like, are you trying to turn this funny moment into something about yourself? Because she's like, so, would you go... Because Dorit asked her, would you, speak out publicly if someone did something like that? Dorit, are you vying to date Mauricio in a couple of years? That's been the rumor for a very long time. Are you trying to date Mauricio? Honestly, I think Mauricio knows so much about Dorit, he's not even interested. Maybe a one-night stand, but he is not interested in Dorit. The more that we've gotten to learn about Dorit, and the more that I'm sure he knows about Dorit, he's like, yeah, I don't need those problems. I don't need her spending up all my money. That's the good thing about my wife. She's frugal with it. That's the thing about Kyle. Honestly, Kyle could have glam. She could have all this. It's like her and Mauricio together, they've made a lot of money together. They've talked about this during the reunion, how, the agency, which has probably sold billions of dollars in real estate. And I honestly believe the reason why they haven't gotten divorced is somewhat financial. Because now they would have to split a lot of that stuff. And right now, they don't have to split any of that stuff. They can continue to live their lives separately, but their money isn't separate. And it might be tied up. It might be tied up for a variety of different reasons. When it comes to, I know Mauricio's being sued. There's stuff going on with Mauricio's family. So I'm sure there's so much more there where they can't speak about it publicly, because speaking about it publicly could hurt them strategically. So look, I'm sure there's some of that. But some of what Kyle said, and we talked about this during the last recap, for those that may have missed it, I've been recapping Beverly Hills. It's been a part of our Friday Lives, where I talk about a bunch of other hot topics. This is probably like the first time that we've done a recap without, any other stories outside of Beverly Hills. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to move on, just because I need to go start my day. And I need to, let me just make sure I'll do this while I'm leave my fourth wall in. Okay, Bose's package. This is interesting. So, Bose, as you know, has had an interesting second season. I know some people liked Bose last season. Some of you may have liked her this season. And I'm sure some of you are in the comment section, I like Bose, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what there is to like. I tried to like Bose last season. And then all these stories started coming out. And I was seeing stuff from Bose. I was like, And then this season, here's the thing. And I was concerned about Bose coming on this show because she does have a marketing background, and I felt like, she's probably not going to be 100% authentic. But I was like, you know what? Let me keep an open mind. Let me see how she navigates, because I really wasn't 100% familiar with Bose. So then, and now I'm seeing, we were talking about last week her 10 years being so short and her trying to justify that. And I'm just thinking to myself, well, no, I'm starting to really believe that you may have not been that great at your job, because you can't even market yourself on this show to be even likable. And you are a part of the executive suite of marketing. And you're not even able to come up, not realizing, especially as someone that from marketing should understand how people view people that are inauthentic. I just found that to be really, really interesting. And I'm not going to get back into the conversation because we beat a dead horse with this conversation about the CMO stuff. But so many people have defended Bose, saying that, do you think this other company would hire Bose if she was so terrible at her job? Yeah, I've seen it. I've worked in corporate America. I've seen terrible managers, directors, VPs go from one high-profile job to the next. It's happened. But again, I have not worked under Bose myself. We've had quite a few people that have had work experiences with her or stories report and call in. Bose, I wish you the best. I wouldn't be shocked that Bose comes back next season to highlight her wedding, but I also wouldn't be surprised if Bose doesn't come back after this season or doesn't come back after next season. I definitely don't see Bose having a long history on this show. I really don't. I definitely feel like it's going to be very similar to what I've been saying about Shamia. I don't think you guys are going to see a difference in Bose. And if you see a difference, it's a new marketing plan. But anyway, so Bose is planning 2 weddings, one here in Beverly Hills, another one in Ghana. She says everyone is invited. Well, everyone I'm getting along with. I'm sure Amanda was not holding her breath to come to your wedding. So she also gives an update in regards to her pregnancy journey. So she says she's going to harvest her eggs again. She's also considering donor eggs. And if that doesn't work, she will consider adoption. Fine. I know a lot of people have been very critical about Bose and her trying to have a baby. Here's the thing. Her body, her choice. I strongly believe that. If she wants to go through that, fine. She's already explained multiple times that the reason why she wants to do this is because, she lost a child. And even when she was pregnant with her daughter, she really was not able to enjoy it. So she wanted to have a different experience with this baby. I just don't know how you're going to have a different experience with this baby when it's, first of all, so difficult for you to even get pregnant. So I just feel like you're going to be constantly worried, even if you do get pregnant. So it's not going to really be different. But fine. But also, just based off of what we've seen with other people's pregnancy journeys, and especially on Married to Medicine, when Dr. Jackie was giving information on that, and Quad had more viable eggs than Bose, I was like, Bose, that last time, I think she said she only had like 2. And Dr. Jackie says 6 is ideal. And I believe Quad had like 4. And that it didn't work for Quad. So I already knew when she said she only had 2. I was like, okay. But look, every doctor is going to have a different opinion. And I wouldn't be surprised these doctors, especially if they're making tons of money off of this, are going to be like, well, we can try again. If you have the money, we can try again. Fine. And then she says she's also considering donor eggs and possibly adoption. I wish her the best. If this is what you want to do, fine. All right. Bo says she didn't see a problem with what Keely said. Remember that dinner in regards to him saying, what if I lost my job? Would you still love me? Would you still want to be with me? So that has been a major conversation since it happened, because we don't know what he does for a living. And we were like, the vibes, people have not been vibing with Keely on the show. And she's talked a little bit about that during this reunion and people's opinions about her relationship. And she says she didn't see a problem with him saying it, because she was like, this was a moment of vulnerability between them. And she really was able to justify, like, well, he was like, would you still love me if I was to lose my job? There were some inconsistencies in regards to what Keely said, because he made it seem like he had multiple businesses. But then in that moment, when he said, what if I lost my job? Which for me was the truth, because he was like, oh, so you only have a job. You don't have multiple businesses. But okay, fine. But according to Bo, she's able to justify it, saying it was a moment of vulnerability. All right. So Bose addresses what she said about Amanda and scamming on Watch What Happens Live. And she says that she was upset with Amanda. She says that she knows that it was harsh and that she didn't mean it. I believe you meant it, though, Bose. You want to paint the picture like you didn't mean it, but you definitely meant it. But she says she was angry at Amanda at the time because Amanda was comparing them. And Amanda was like, when was I comparing us? She's like, you were constantly comparing us. Amanda was comparing you guys when asked in her confessionals because of the things that you guys were saying. You specifically, Bose, were saying about Amanda the entire season. You guys kept on questioning her business the entire season. That's where it gets so lost in all of this mumbo jumbo that anything that Amanda said to you, Amanda Googling your businesses and your short tenures, that all happened because you guys started it. You guys started looking stuff up about her because you didn't understand her business. Okay. So Amanda pointed out her digital course makes millions and Bose's doesn't. But this, again, was prompted after Bose was questioning her business. Bose says she didn't understand what Amanda was doing in regards to her work. She says that she honestly didn't remember saying the mask comment. Which, you know what, Bose? I'm going to defend you there because you did say it sort of like just off the cuff. She's like, oh, Amanda. So I can understand Bose not remembering that. It's just the compounding evidence of the amount of things that you've said and you don't recall, but the cameras do recall, has not landed well for Bose this season at all. If anything, Bose should be happy if Amanda doesn't come back next season because Amanda seems to be very triggering to Bose for whatever reason. So Bo says she doesn't even remember that comment. She's like, I make so many slick, shady comments. I'm glad you know that you make slick, shady comments. All right. So then they address, and I did a video. I didn't do a lot of short videos talking about this season like I do about Potomac or I do about Atlanta consistently every week. But I did a video talking about this because I was so annoyed. And this was at the top of the season because Amanda was talking about, I have 4 kids. And you're like, oh my God, you have 4 kids. And it was like, well, 2 of them are my stepkids. And in the confessional, both had a big issue with that. She was like, there could only be one mama. I get so frustrated with Amanda during the reunion because she's not as prepared as like Dorit in regards to being able to quote what was said during the reunion. But the cameras do remember. And Amanda was trying to remember exactly the words that Bose said in her confessionals in regards to being there can only be one mama. So Amanda says it one way, and she's like, hey, "You guys have it, right?" Like, and he's like, "Yeah, they'll play it." So they play it, and they remind us what Bose said. And Bose is like, "I did not say that." Roll the tape, and then you literally see Bose says, "There could only be one mama," and I said. Back when that scene happened, I was like, Bose, first of all, the fact that she embraces those kids as her own should be celebrated and not criticized. And especially the way that she said it, she wasn't being derogatory towards their biological mama, but she's like, I'm helping raise them. You made it more nefarious than it needed to be, and you received backlash because of it. And I remember doing that video months back, and some of you have been tagging me in my own video. And I was like, oh, let me repost this so you guys remember what I said back then. All right. So Bose insisted again that I never said that. You literally said there could only be one mama. And you thought that people would appreciate that and understand that. But people were like, no. Like, if anything, we love the fact that Amanda is going to embrace her stepkids as her own. And in that moment, she could have been like, oh, I have 2 children. And how would those kids have felt? I'm like, well, don't you view us as your kids too? But fine. Anyway, this part of the reunion was disturbing to me. Because Bose, when addressing Amanda bringing up the death of her son Zion during the argument with Dorit, and I know some people did feel like, oh, Amanda's using this to kind of deflect from the argument with Dorit. But honestly, when you look at the timeline, and Amanda says this during the reunion, when you look at the timeline, she literally spoke with a medium that was talking about the loss of her son. Now we're going into this moment of having conversation, and Dorit continued after her saying, today's the anniversary of the death of my son. Dorit should be like, you know what? I don't want to talk about it now. We can talk about it another time. But Dorit, in that moment, because she's so self-centered, that she's just like, and it's so crazy to me because none of them really apologized to Amanda. Because when you look back at what Amanda actually said, really was not that deep. Really did not warrant you guys dragging a beef with Amanda this entire season. It did not warrant that at all. All right, before we move on, shout out to our friends over at Baskin Lather. I am still using their products. I haven't used it in a few days because I'm traveling, and if y'all saw how I overpack already, there's no way I could bring Baskin Lather stuff with me. I could have, but I can't. But shout out to Baskin Lather for sponsoring today's recap. I am always so excited when I can collaborate with a brand, first of all, that's Black owned, but also something that I know you all can benefit from and will love. That's why today's live is brought to you by our friends over at Baskin Lather. So let me tell you a little bit about Baskin Lather and how it even all began. As I mentioned to you before, it's a Black-owned business. When a dermatologist misdiagnosed CEO Shayna's younger sister and said her hair may never grow back, the family took things into their own hands, very much like Black people always do. Today, her hair is down to her hips. Shayna and her mother researched and formulated their own scalp and hair oil to stimulate growth and retain length. And I know what you're probably thinking. Kempire, what do you know about hair? Well, I said I'm going to find a product from this company that I can use. So for those of you, shout out to the guys that follow the channel, or maybe your husbands that are just listening earshot, they have beard remedies as well. So I've been using their beard shampoo, their beard conditioner, their beard oil, their beard magic, which is going to help fill in spots. I've been using it for 3 weeks. So if you see a transformation when it comes to my beard, you know it was at the hands of Baskin Lather. So there are things there for men as well. But more importantly, I know that we have a large audience of women that follow the channel. So I love when we can bring a product that's going to benefit you. Let me tell you a little bit more about Baskin Lather and some of the things that they have on their website. If you're looking for something when it comes to your hair, nourish and hydrate from the inside out with 100% natural ingredients. They have a nourishing hair balm for curly or kinky hair that helps reduce hair breakage and adds shine. When used regularly, users have seen results in about 3 months. Made with ingredients that can penetrate hair strands without clogging pores. Non-greasy formulation with no petroleum or lanolin. They also have hydrating hair mist. Keep any hair type soft and shiny and hydrated. Combines aloe vera and avocado oil to reduce frizz, treat dryness, detangle, and redefine curls. And I took a look at their before and afters, and you would be amazed. From people that have alopecia to dryness of hair to length. The length, I was like, well, maybe I do need to try it. They also have before and after when it comes to thinning hair and shedding of your hair. As I said before, there are multiple before and afters for men as well. These products are for both men and women. I never bring you something here where you can't benefit or get a discount. Explore viral bestsellers and products of healthier hair of all types from Baskin Lather. Go to baskinlatherco.com and use code KEMPIRE for 20% off. That's 20% off at baskinlatherco.com, code KEMPIRE. More details on Baskin Lather will be available in the description. Thanks to Baskin Lather for sponsoring today's live. And we're back. Guys, don't forget to like today's video, and for more information on Baskin Lather will be available in the description and all of our sponsor information. And don't forget to join our mailing list, thekempire.com/join, so that you can find out details about what's coming up. You'll be the first to know about different announcements. You'll also find out more details about my travels and what I've been up to and all that good stuff. All right, I can't be here much longer because I have a tour coming up in about an hour and a half. 2 hours, actually. All right, but I got to get there first, right? Right. All right. All right, so move on from... so let me get back to the bows of it all. So Bose says that she feels like Amanda was being strategic bringing up Zion's death. Here is why I found this so confusing, because Bose sets up this commentary by first talking about what she's been through, literally saying that there were moments that she couldn't get out of bed on the anniversary of the death of her child. So the fact that you can understand that, but you can never go against your bestie, Westie Dorit, this was a moment for you to find grace and take some accountability, and you didn't. You doubled down in this moment. And this is why I feel like people are finding you unlikable, because this was an opportunity to be like, you know what? I shouldn't have said that, because if anything, I've been through that. And I found it hard to get out of bed. I couldn't do anything. So I can't even imagine how you were feeling in that moment, especially after meeting with the medium, giving you this advice. And now you're dealing with a nonsensical argument where you really didn't say anything that terrible that warranted a conversation in this particular moment. And do I think that it could have been strategic? Well, it could have been. However, you of all people, Bose, should have had grace for Amanda in that moment, but you refused to have grace for Amanda for whatever reason. Somehow Amanda triggers you in that you have been attacking her this entire season. I don't know why she triggers you, because based off of what people have said about you working in corporate America, that she's someone you would have supported. But anyway, I digress. Let's talk about the downfall of Dorit, Kyle, and Erica's friendship, because that was the bulk of the last part of the reunion. No, don't go anywhere. We're going to talk about it. We've rode this train the entire season, so we might as well just finish it out and talk about it, right? All right, so Dorit says that she was going through so much stuff with PK during filming. She says that Kyle came into the season with a plan to make her look bad. I mean, on some level, I feel like Dorit is woe is me. On another level, we've already said for many years in recapping the show that we've heard that this cast will get together before a season starts and plot and plan their storylines. That's always been the narrative. I just don't know if I believe that Kyle came in trying to make Dorit look bad. I honestly believe that Kyle was actually trying to help Dorit, because Kyle probably knew about I can almost 100%, but I don't know, because I haven't been a part of those conversations or privy to those conversations. But based off of what Kyle was talking about during this entire season, said to me, Kyle knew more than she let on, and she was being gracious. Kyle could have easily says, I've heard from PK or from Mauricio that her spending is crazy. Like, she's spending thousands and thousands of dollars a month, and she doesn't have it. The other element that we didn't talk about in regards to this report about Dorit's spending, they're saying like 90%. Okay, I don't, again, I'm paraphrasing. You can Google schmoogle the actual percentages. But they were saying less than 10% of the money that she was spending was on her kids. I'm not going to question Dorit as a mom, but if you're spending all of this money and the majority is on your personal expenses, it just compounds what I think about Dorit, and when it comes to her being selfish, not having friends, not being a good friend. I don't want to talk about her mothering, but the numbers are there. They're saying that she spent less than 10% of the things that she was buying were on her kids. Less than 10%. The majority of the things that she was buying was for herself. The Louis Vuittons, the this and that. And again, some might argue this, the Dorit stands, the burritos, the Doritos, whatever you want to call you guys, or the Porritos at this particular point. You could justify, like, well, kids don't require a lot. She can spend one thing at Louis Vuitton and it'd be, you shouldn't be spending this when you are in the middle of, we're talking about, these are recent expenses. You can't talk about spending this amount of money or justifying spending this amount of money when your home is in the arrears of $6 million. You're spending $1 million in a span of weeks? Come on. That's crazy to me. If you're really concerned about your children's livelihood, you're not doing that. Okay? And they're saying it's not even for stuff for the show. They were personal expenses. Lord have mercy. Because at least, I'm not an accountant, so don't take any advice from me. At least if you were wearing these stuff on the show, that some of this could be written off. And be like, well, no, I have to look a certain way. And to be honest with you, the way she's been looking on the show has been looking not what she normally would do. Okay? So her fashion has definitely changed in the last couple of seasons, being a little bit more subdued. All right? Anyway, Kyle says that she brings up the fact that Bose was saying things in her interviews that that she was expressing that she was as concerned about Dorit's spending as she was, but she was like, it didn't air. But Bose claims that she did say that she was concerned, that she shared her concerns. But the clips that the production was showing didn't show Bose expressing her own concern about Dorit's spending. It was more so about, I do think that Kyle is concerned about you and what's going on. Okay. Kyle and Bose address Kyle not attending Dorit's book cover party. That's why we have to be very specific. This party that Dorit's making such a big deal about when it comes to the people not showing up for her was a book cover party. The book wasn't even written yet. The book comes out, I believe, next month, which is so stupid. It should have come out at the same time of the season, but it's going to come out next month when no one's thinking about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and people are not thinking about Dorit. I'm sure she will be doing interviews and things like that, but I'll be honest with you, I could care less to read a book by Dorit, to read a text message by Dorit. Those text messages, I was like, oh my gosh, I can read this in her voice. But that's me. So they say all of that, blah, 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 blah. So Kyle says that Bose made her look like a horrible friend in her interviews because of some of the things that Bose was saying during the season. In her confessionals, the things that she was saying to Dorit. And I was like, I have to kind of agree with that. In a way, Bose was really, especially the book cover party. She's like, oh, you could come and say hello and blah, blah, blah. I want to see if you can do that, Bose, when you're planning your daughter's wedding next time. Can you take 30 minutes out and go do that the same week? I truly believe that Kyle was probably overwhelmed for a variety of different reasons when planning this wedding for her daughter. So I can understand it. I'm not going to go to your book party. And when it's a filmed event, you're not showing up for a half hour. You're showing up for a couple of hours at least. So, but Kyle brings up that Kyle and Bose have, for the most part, have been trying to work on a friendship. I don't know if I believe that. Kyle's like, oh, I love you, Bose. No, you don't. I don't think so. I think Kyle just doesn't want to have the same experience that she had with Garcelle in the beginning, and people saying that Kyle was being problematic with some of the things that she did in the very beginning with Garcelle, so she didn't want to repeat that experience with Bose. And they had a little bit of a rough start when Bose said that Kyle was cold to her. So I believe that's something that Kyle is trying to avoid, and we know Bose is willing to do to go along, right? Anyway, so Kyle brings up the fact that she felt like Bose was trying to make her look like a horrible friend in those interviews. So Dorit says that Kyle was collecting her minions anytime during the conversation they were having. And I will say this, Kyle was definitely like, everyone should speak up. Everyone should chime in because I'm not the only one saying these things. But here's the thing. I know the Bravo universe would be like, yeah, she was definitely trying to collect her minions. She was trying to get everyone to speak up. I have a feeling that there was so much that wasn't shared in regards to other people sharing their thoughts, or maybe it wasn't on camera. And that's why Kyle was frustrated with the group. It's just like, you guys are saying the same things that I'm saying. Because if the spending is what they're saying in these court docs is true, I'm sure some of these people were saying, like, she's spending a lot of money. Like, how is she spending this money? Because they're also hearing, and they probably heard for years, because California, they're gossiping all this stuff. They're just not going to say it on camera. But they're hearing all this stuff. I'm sure Crystal probably has heard this stuff. She's spending so much, and she's here, she's there. And these stores talk. They gossip too. Oh yeah, Dorit, she was just here. She spent so much money. But I heard she owes $6 million on her home. Shouldn't she be spending this amount of money? These people are talking. So I think that's where Kyle's just like, why am I the only one expressing concern? And I'm getting the heat from Dorit about it. So Dorit says that Kyle was collecting her minions, and I do believe that Sutton's a minion. Sutton seems just like, I am a minion to no one, and I will not bow down to the Kyle Richards blah blah blah. And literally, this actually was triggered by what Dorit said. Dorit was quoting so many moments from the other castmates from the last couple of years. And I was just like, girl, you really rehearsed for this reunion, which I can appreciate. But at the same time, I was like, it came across rehearsed. It's not supposed to come across rehearsed. All right. So Sutton claims she's like, I am a minion to no one. Yes, you are. You literally lost someone that was a close friend to you because you were being a minion to Kyle Richards. So it doesn't land the same in season 15 when we watch season 14. And Sutton went from being a fan favorite to probably having the longest lines at BravoCon. I'm sure after this reunion after this last season, I'm sure those lines and the favorability when it comes to Sutton is going to be very different. Honestly, I would love to go to BravoCon just to see the difference. I'd be like, oh, like the love for Sutton is just not there. It's just not there. All right. Guys, if you're just joining us, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to share the video. We're talking about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion part 2. This is the last time that we'll be talking about Beverly Hills for a while. Well, hopefully, unless something happens dramatic. This is pre-recorded. So for those that are just joining us wondering, oh, is Kempire a lot? Well, technically I am, but this is pre-recorded because I am on vacation for my birthday. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers watching, even if you are a mother figure as well. So happy Mother's Day and happy early birthday to me. Happy early birthday. I am still celebrating, but I'll be back at some particular point. For those that are wondering whether or not I'm going to be recapping Real Housewives of Atlanta, if I have time. I haven't really planned anything specific in regards to my birthday, but if I have time to watch it, because remember, I have to watch it too. And then, I'd like to rewatch it at least twice. I rewatched Beverly Hills twice, which was not great to watch. So I kind of had it in the background as I was, doing other things, but I was just like, let me rewatch it before we do the recap. And then I slept in a little bit today, and I was just like, all right, let me get up and do this before I go do this tour that I have planned today. Okay? All right. And as I'm doing that, guys, be sure to like today's video. Be sure to share today's video. Be sure to subscribe. It's subscribers only lifestyle. Shout out to our King's Guards. Shout out to our channel members. Become a member today at teamkempire.com/join. teamkempire.com/join. And join our mailing list so you can find out where I'm traveling, what I'm doing, upcoming things that are coming up. Join the mailing list, thekempire.com/join. Join today. All right? Let's get to the rest of this, but before we do, shout out to our sponsors over at RHOBH. I know you're probably tired of hearing people say, new year, new me. However, it can be a new year and a new you. Everyone is trying to get back into the gym. They're trying to do some weight loss things. You may have also heard of GLP-1s. Well, our friends over at RHOBH has gotten you covered with the new GLP-1 pill. The pill is a new, more convenient and approachable way to GLP-1s if you've been thinking about it. A self-administered shot can be a bit intimidating. But now there's a pill that delivers comparable results. If you've been thinking about getting on a GLP-1, RHOBH might be the way to do it. They have 100% online care, access to clinically proven, FDA-approved medications, free insurance checks, side effect management, dosing support, and more. RHOBH offers the first FDA-approved GLP-1 pill for weight loss at the lowest cost around. The new GLP-1 pill has the same weight loss ingredient as the shot and packs comparable results to the shot. It can help patients lose 14% of their body weight in a year on average. This is based on a study in non-diabetics with obesity or overweight plus a weight-related condition with diet and exercise. You may have also seen Serena Williams talk about collaborating and endorsing RHOBH as well. As a world-class athlete, she also wanted to drop pounds after having children. If I had needed this particular option, this is what I would use. A pill versus a shot? Why not? Go to ro.co/Kempire to see if you're eligible for the new GLP-1 pill on RHOBH. That's ro.co/Kempire to get started on RHOBH. Go to ro.co/safety for box warning and full safety information about GLP-1 medication. More details on your discount and more will be available in the description. And we're back. All right, more information again will be available in regards to RHOBH in the description. All right, so let's get into the rest of this reunion. For those that are just joining us, we're talking about part 3 of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion. If you've missed any of this, shout out to our replay crew, and be sure to let us know your thoughts and how you would rate. How would you guys rate part 3 of the reunion from 1 to 10, and how would you rate the season after watching everything in its entirety or just watching our recaps in its entirety over the last how many weeks? How would you rate the season? I definitely feel like the season was lackluster. It was probably one of their worst seasons. It was probably one of the seasons because I remember there was a season, I can't remember which specific season, where I just sort of got out of Beverly Hills and stopped watching it for a few seasons. And I think it may have been when Garcelle was announced coming back, or maybe right before, I can't remember, that I said, you know what, I'm going to go rewatch or watch those seasons, get caught up, and ever since then I've been back in. But this feels like one of those types of seasons, like if there are no major changes coming to this cast next season, that I could see myself not watching. And a lot of people said they weren't going to watch after this season. But I said, you know what, I'm going to watch. There's about to be a Real Housewives drought because New York is filming. They just wrapped on Real Housewives of Orange County. I'm not going to be recapping Orange County this season, y'all. I already decided. I only recapped it because you guys asked me to. It's never been a show that I've watched. I've never watched it from the beginning. Every other city I've watched, including Dallas, from the beginning. So I'm out. I've given them, 3 seasons? Maybe more. 4 seasons of recapping it. And I'm just like, I'm good on OC. Salt Lake City is currently filming. They should be probably wrapping soon. But that means we're only going to have... Rhode Island's going to wrap soon, too. But I'm enjoying Rhode Island. If anything, because you know I like to give credit when credit's due, because I wasn't sure about Rhode Island, but I said I was going to keep an open mind. Rhode Island has been good. It's definitely good. I'm glad they're not going to drag it out for 20 episodes. I could actually see Rhode Island having a 3-part reunion, though. I can't say the same for Beverly Hills. I'm like, I don't understand why we had a 3-part reunion. But fine. We've made it through. We've had the 3 parts. I'm trying to figure out why we had a 3-part reunion. Or what exactly was uncovered in parts 1, 2, and 3. The most of what we talked about was Amanda and her beef with Bose, and Dorit's beef with Kyle and Erica. Well, back to that. So, Dorit says that she believes that Kyle has the power. She says that Erica believes that Kyle has the power to get people off of the show. And apparently she says that Erica said this to Dorit. And Erica's like, I said that? We never got to the bottom of that. We never got to Erica saying, no, I never said that. No, I don't believe that. Which I thought was weird. And I was like, can we unpack that a little bit? Because it went from that to Kyle making a joke like, I have the power to get people off the show. The amount of people that I probably would have gotten off the show over the years. And Andy makes a joke. He's like, well, yeah, let's talk about who are those people that you would have gotten off the show if you had that power. I mean, that's been the running joke for, not a running joke, because I do believe on some level, I don't believe any particular housewife has that type of control. However, I do believe Kyle has influence. I definitely believe, like, if she's not on the in with some of these women, they can be iced out and not be considered anymore for the show. I definitely believe there is that level of power. And Crystal Kaminka has talked about when she got on the show, people have said this is Kyle's show. Okay. So I wouldn't be surprised with Dorit saying this about Erica, that's why Erica was just like, I'm not going to beef with Kyle. And I'm just going to I know where my bread is buttered, and I'm going to stay loyal there, because at the end of the day, I need this job more than any of my other jobs. Being a DJ, performing music, this is a consistent check. This is my biggest check. All right, so Rachel chimes in, and Rachel's, I forgot Rachel was there. Rachel says that she didn't want to be lumped in with the group when it comes to questioning Dorit's lateness and spending, because she says, I know so many people that I love that are late. I feel like Rachel, when we're talking about minions and when we're talking about teams and things like that, I believe that Rachel has chosen to be on Team Bose and Dorit. If anything, that came across like a team to me. But Rachel says she didn't want to get lumped in with the group questioning Dorit's lateness, because she's like, I know a lot of people that I love that are late all the time. She also didn't want to question Dorit's spending, because she's like, I'm new to the group. I've only known Dorit at this particular point a couple of months. I don't want to be lumped in to be like, oh my gosh, she's changed so much. And like, I don't know any different from Dorit. Kyle does apologize, and Kyle has apologized during the season for using the word erratic when it comes to Dorit's behavior. And we all talked about that. We were like, Kyle, that's a bit of a stretch what you're telling Bose in regards to Dorit's behavior, because it is painting her to being not 100%, which is not great when you're in the middle of a custody situation, a divorce. Not great. So Kyle apologizes again for using that word. So Andy says to Dorit, he was like, them bringing up your lateness, I mean, that's nothing new. And Dorit's like, I know. It's still not great, Dorit. Not respecting people's time is not great. Dorit's like, but I wasn't late today. And Bose is like, well, you were the second to last person to get here. But she's like, but I wasn't the last person. Okay, Dorit. But at the same time, it makes me wonder, how much time are we talking about when it comes to everyone that's arriving? Is it 5 minutes? Is it a minute? Is it like 20 minutes? Like, what time, how many people were there before Dorit? How long was that period of time? It makes me wonder. All right. Andy says it's like Dorit's lateness is not anything new. Dorit's like, I know. Erica says that Dorit would also disappear for like 2 hours. She's like, when did I disappear for 2 hours? Erica makes it seem like Dorit is so critical to this cast, of her being missing in action for 2 hours, because she's probably having a smoke break. That's what we found out. Having a smoke break. She's like, she's such an important part of this cast. Well, the current cast probably, because nothing else is going on. So she really tries to say her importance in being there, and you're disappearing for hours. I don't know why she's disappearing for hours. I don't know what she's doing. We still never really understood. Word on the street is because she smokes. And she's always smoked, apparently. So they making it a thing last season wasn't anything new. But I guess they're making it something new. All right. Andy says that Dorit doesn't seem like she's sorry for it. He also brings up Erica's tears at the table in Italy after her fight with Dorit. Dorit says she's still upset that Erica never texted her about not showing up for her book cover party. So Erica talking about being upset about you questioning her character, trying to start trouble when it comes to keeping her job, or that her never supporting you. But you're upset that she didn't come to your book party? Here's the thing, though, Erica. On one level, I get where you're coming from. On the other one, you literally had a conversation with Rachel about you're going to at least text her to let her know you're not coming. You intentionally didn't text her, because I feel like you guys are trying to drag this out to be something that maybe it's not, or you were just it was intentional, period. Whatever the intention is, I don't know, but it was intentional. You intentionally did not text her to let her know you weren't coming. So that for me already is something you should apologize for. But anyway, So Dorit says she's still upset about that. Erica says that no one ever told her to go after Dorit, because she believes that, again, that Erica was doing the bidding of Kyle. But Erica says her major gripe is that Dorit said that Erica is doing this to save her job. That seems to be her biggest issue. Kathy tries to chime in, and she tries to defend Kyle, saying and points out how differently Dorit is handling the situation with Erica versus how she's handling it with Kyle. I mean, you could definitely see that there. And maybe the reason why Dorit feels this way is because based on what Kyle is saying, she knows that PK is probably saying it. And that's why she doesn't want to say it. Erica says that Kyle is fighting too hard for a relationship that doesn't exist. And for me, that stood out to me. I was like, that's a word, Erica. You are. And that's why it stood out to me when Crystal said on her podcast that Kyle has always wanted a friendship with Dorit, but Dorit doesn't show up like a friend. She doesn't leave her house. She doesn't come out. She doesn't do things. She wants a friendship. According to Crystal, Kyle wants a friendship like that with Dorit, but Dorit doesn't show up like that as a friend, despite what we see on the show. So Erica says that Kyle's fighting too hard for a relationship that doesn't exist. Kyle says that Dorit shut down the camera and stole the van. I didn't even see that part when they were in Italy and she left Erica and Kyle stranded. I didn't realize that when she went to the van, she told them to cut the cameras. And they were like, okay, they shouldn't be allowed to do that. What do you mean cut the cameras? Well, she probably wanted to cut the cameras because she wanted to smoke in the vehicle. Anyway. So then Dorit makes another quote of Erica's in regards to about real friendship, how people will show up for you. Show me your real friends are the ones that are going to show up for you when your back is against the wall, things are going you're going through a divorce, whatever. So Dorit says to Erica, I'll see you when things are better then. Okay, I'll see you when things get better. So that's how they end the reunion. The reunion doesn't end on the best note. Not that we should be surprised, because Erica was on the red carpet a few weeks ago saying, yeah, she still hasn't spoken to Dorit. There is no resolution at the reunion. Do I think that they could be dragging this out for some sort of storyline next season? Possibly. I'm not interested. This will be, a third season of Dorit versus Kyle? Not interested. But do I see Dorit not coming back next season? No. You see all the things that are heating up right now when it comes to Dorit's divorce? Dorit's going to come back next season. I can't promise you that I will be back next season. Because if this is more of the same, Bowles is not likable. Dorit's not likable. Rachel's not likable. Who else is not likable? Kyle's not likable. There are moments of likability with Erica. Sutton has become completely unlikable. Kathy's likable. Jennifer Tilly's likable, but they're friends of the show. You have that many Look, Amanda's not even the most likable. You have that many unlikable people on a cast. They may need to take some time and figure out if this is the direction they want to go. I get it, the numbers are good now, but please understand, I'm not going to return next season if it's the same cast. Even if you add one new person, I'm not returning next season because it's more of the same. I said I'm going to give them grace. I'm going to see how the season goes. But the only way that you guys are going to understand that people do not want to watch what you're giving us is by not watching it. I know y'all watch the recaps, but at this particular point, we got to show you with our viewership. And that means taking you off our DVR. That means not talking about it on social media. I have to say, I barely have talked about it on my short form content. Because normally I would recap and talk on short form. I barely did that this season for Beverly Hills. And we didn't even do it. We didn't even do like our own Beverly Hills recap. We would do it for our Friday Lives, which made it more enjoyable to talk about. But even then, I probably should have given you like a blip of a recap. But this, we ended the season by giving you guys a good hour and a half of talking about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills while I'm on vacation for my birthday. So do me a favor for my birthday gift. Like the video. share the video. Don't forget, you can also hear the audio version of our live recaps on the Kempire podcast. So subscribe today and give us a 5-star review. Join our mailing list too if you want to know more details about what I'm doing on my birthday trip and more. Happy Mother's Day again to those that celebrate. And I will see you all in the next one. Thank you all for being here. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday. Lord, it doesn't even feel like Sunday. I guess that's what happens when you're on vacation, right? Doesn't feel that way. Again, guys, be sure to check out the description for more details on our sponsors and everything Kempire. I will see you all in the next one. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your day. I will see you all later. Bye, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to the Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network. As always, don't forget to give the Kempire Podcast a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. We're trying to get to 1,000 reviews on both platforms. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, download, and share the Kempire Podcast.